Happy holidays, everyone. It's Lachelle, America's Supermom, and we are approaching the holidays. It is November the 29th, 2019, and I just want to talk briefly about a recipe for a peaceful holiday season. So that consists of three ingredients, and I'm going to go over those really quickly and hopefully we'll be able to incorporate a lot of these and implement them in our daily walk that will allow us to have a wonderful, beautiful holiday. So the first one is focus on creating memories. So instead of leading with how many gifts do I have to buy and, who wants what, think about the memories that you can create. Because at the end of the day, I know just for my children, we sit down and we have a gift exchange for the siblings. They draw names out of the hat for each other. And it's hard for us to remember what gifts they got from one year to the next. We don't remember who got what, who had what person that they had to buy for. And that just goes to show me that it's not about the gift that you receive, but it's about the memory. Now, they do remember that they drew names last year. They remember, hiding the gifts before they had to give them to the person. So there's things about the memory that are important and stands out, more so than the material item that was actually given to each individual. So focus on the memories more so than the material things. The next one is imagine where you would be if your family were gone. And to me, this is so important because a lot of people during the holidays, myself included, have lost loved ones that have really changed the dynamic of what Christmas or the holidays actually stand for. There's traditions, whereas, we always would go to grandmother's house or we would go to this aunt or uncle's, or they would always bring this dish and they're not with us anymore. And so, for many of us that hold true to a very rock solid tradition, it can sometimes be hard to go into a new normal. You don't look at Thanksgiving meal the same without those special macaroni and cheese dish or that special lemon meringue pie or whatever. So it's important to think about what you have in front of you and going back to creating new memories so that you can have more empathy and appreciate what you do have instead of focusing on the negative. And then the last thing is find out ways to surprise people. This is very important. We have a large family, and a lot of people look at us and think, wow, they're buying a lot of gifts and, they have so many people to buy for. But a lot of times we have an element of surprise when all the kids, every holiday we sit down and make small gifts for their teachers. So, regardless of how big our family is, just the whole mindset of, showing appreciation for these teachers who spend time away from their families, teaching them on a daily basis. We think it's important to have that element of thoughtfulness. So it could be the crossing guard. Maybe your kids have a crossing guard and no one thinks to give them a card or some flowers, just to let them know that they're recognized. It could be your child's pediatrician, just taking them a thing of cookies, for their office, as appreciation for the holidays. So it doesn't have to cost a lot. It's just the mindset of thinking about people that a lot of people are stressed when the holidays comes around. They have to work and then trying to travel or whatever the case is. But taking time to recognize them and letting them know that you appreciate them really goes a long way. So those are the three recipes. Staying focused on creating memories, appreciating your family, remembering that, you know what, we don't have life that lasts forever. One day we will be gone. So just taking that time to appreciate the time that we have with one another and finding ways to surprise other people, even if it's just a small token of appreciation. Just getting 12, a dozen roses and passing them out to, you can give them to somebody at the drive thru, you know, and just passing them out to the first 12 people you see. You just never know. So just taking that time to remember other people during this joyous season, really make it joyous, because I know for me, I do a lot of gift giving, little small things, which is passing out my business card. And that element of surprise for people, it really releases a lot of endorphins and puts them in a positive mindset. So think of ways that you can give in some small way. So that is all I have for today. Happy holidays to everyone, and I will talk to you soon. Blessings. Bye.